Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And my friends, we have, as you probably assumed and guessed, if you're a avid watcher of the show, we have yet another amazing guest this morning. How do we do it? Well, you do it. We do it. We do it together. I know that sounds very mushy, but sometimes we get a little sappy around here. All right, my friends, let's jump into this. We have an amazing guest this morning. Her name is Erin. She's a former school counselor. She's focusing on mindset and delivering value in her online business as she's gotten started. We're going to hear about her experience, past, present, what she wants to do in the future, and why she got started doing this in the first place. My friends, please help me welcome Erin to the show.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Dave?
I'm fantastic. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me back on.
You were on July 31st in 2023, so it's been just over a year since you were on the show last.
Yep, yep, that's right.
Very cool, very cool. Well, hey, it's always nice to catch back up and of course, talk to people, students, clients here at Legendary and show folks that there's, like what the real life behind the scenes experience of this process looks like, not just the 30-second clips on social media, but have a longer form conversation. And so, for those who didn't catch the previous episode that you were on, take us back and help us to understand what motivated you to want to start an online business in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, when I was on, I had just had my first baby about 2 months before that. And so if we rewind to like my original why, I was sitting in my office during slow season. I had an office in Sedona at the time where I was doing energy work, psychic readings, past life regression, and that sort of thing. And it was slow season, and I had this passion for passive income because I feel like that's one of the ways we can really claim our sovereignty is stop trading our time for money. And so I was taking your course, the challenge, in January when things were slow, and I applied that to digital and affiliate marketing, right? And I started with the course and some other things, and then in the back of my head, it was always like, apply it to your own thing, apply it to your own thing. But like a lot of people do, I applied it to some other people's products and services so that I could learn the ropes. And fast forward, and in February, March of this year, I really hunkered down and I made my website off of a funnel template. It looks great. I made it off of a funnel template, and I put together an email campaign to my former clients, and I also have relied heavily on a text campaign. And here we are. I'm staying at home. I no longer, I never did go back to work, but my idea was I don't want to go back to spending $2,000 a month on an office space. And now I don't, because of everything I learned and can now apply to my own business.
Well, amazing. That's the goal, right? Is to use these core four business models that we teach here to package and sell your own information, or of course, sell somebody else's information as an affiliate, or both. There's nothing wrong with doing both. A lot of people do both. As a matter of fact, it's smart. Some of the biggest companies in the world who sell their own products, whether they're an information company selling knowledge or education, courses, coaching, things of that nature, or whether they're a physical products business, um, many companies also have affiliate products that they promote, companies that they're affiliated with.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, there's even some blogs out there. One of them is called, for example, just give you an example, The Penny Hoarder. This is a financial blog that, last I heard, this may or may not be fact or still true, but they were doing something like $20 million a year in affiliate commissions. They don't even have their own product. They're just creating blog posts and articles and content on a full-blown blog website and then linking affiliate products all throughout their articles. So there's so many different ways to do this, but you're taking your are you marketing out to, when you said you marketed out to past clients, are those some of um, your counseling or coaching clients that you were working with previously, or another type of client?
Yeah, so those are my former clients. So I was a school psychologist, so that's totally separate from this. I left that career in 2019 for a lot of reasons that I think people can imagine. And I left right before a big crazier wave, thank God, right? But and then I started doing work with my clairvoyant and psychic abilities. And so that's
Okay.
more the clients that I was honed in on and reaching out to. And so I put together a CSV file of all of my former clients. I had worked for a year in Sedona in that office space, and I was very blessed to have a lot of clients in that time. So I
Mm,
did reach out to them. I put together an email campaign, but like I said, I've been more heavily relying on text here lately. But I did reach out to them, and it was great because I utilized everything I'd learned, even in like the text message marketing. It was already familiar to me because I knew what a tag was. I knew it wasn't completely foreign.
mm,
And while I'm still offering I am still, I guess you can say like trading my time for money. I'm doing what I'm super passionate about, and I'm plugged into my what I'm good at, and enjoying doing it, right? And it's of service, definitely more so than what I could offer as a school psychologist. Not knocking any school psychologist. If it resonates for you, great. Just
yeah.
wasn't my path.
Well, we're all trading time for money in some capacity, right? It's not like that's such a black and white statement. I
Yeah.
think you make a great point that really, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And so I'll kind of throw that quote in with the trading time for money quote, because look, the more that I fell in love with my business, my courses and coaching and marketing business, the
Mm-hmm.
more I actually worked every day. I actually
Mm-hmm.
worked more hours, longer hours. And
Mm-hmm.
even to this day, I would work, if I didn't have kids, I would probably work 12, 14 hours every day because I love what I do. Like, I
Yeah.
love writing copy, I love recording, I love deal making and so forth. Anyways, hey, I wonder, what do w- you're clairvoyant, what can you tell me about me? I
They
just,
told me you were gonna ask me that. Okay, so I tuned in because I was like, he's gonna ask me. He's gonna ask me. And I was feeling all of this like stuff come up because I have this clear like it's so personal to do readings and to read for people, and there's a lot of people watching. I didn't tune into you, but I had a sense that you would ask me. I would love to read for you sometime for sure. This is there's a lot of people listening, a lot of people watching, and my readings get really personal and really deep and really shadowy sometimes because that's
mm,
just what I end up drawing in.
mm.
Yeah, so
I'm not
typically,
afraid of anything. So I mean, we don't have to do a full reading. I just wondered if you had any insight.
yeah, absolutely. Well, can I pull some cards for you? I
Sure,
use cards in my
sure.
okay, awesome. Okay, so do you have any specific queries, or am I reading like super generally here?
Queries. No, I don't know if I have any queries. What is maybe who's not interested in their future, right? Like, what's going to happen over the next, like for the rest of this year or the next 12 months? Or yeah, Sarah says spill the tea. I mean, you
Build it.
know, yeah, is there any tea that we any salacious insights that you may could give us about my future?
All right, let's find out what's going on for the rest of the year. Okay, so it's important for you not to resist change. I
Mm,
feel like there's show me more, tell me more. Okay, it's important for you not to resist change. And also, sometimes we have people who are advising us that just use your internal guidance system when you're getting bad advice. Sometimes, especially in your position, when you have some, you're in a position of authority, you may have people who can advise you in a more like pacifying way, is what I'm getting, because they're giving me the tower reversed, which is the tower is like when you might have heard it when you have your tower moment. Change is inevitable, change is the only constant. So when the tower is reversed, that indicates to me resisting change. And actually change, although we experience it as uncomfortable, right? Even the best changes are uncomfortable. And then they're giving me the King of Cups reversed, and that can mean a lot of things. But what I'm getting for you is sometimes the King of Cups can indicate bad advice. And so I want you to be aware of when you're consulting with someone and your radar says, like, no. And they may be the expert in that
mm,
particular avenue. And so it gets sticky, but it's important for you to really honor your ping, your internal guidance system, your radar, and the transmission that you're getting, literally like the transmission that your body and your nervous system is feeling when you receive words and a piece of advice.
mm,
Anything else? Tell me more. Tell me more about the King of Cups reversed. And they also
mm,
give me the King of Swords reversed. So I feel like it's another confirmation, like it's okay for you to be really clear that like this person who's supposed to be this expert, I have this really strong sense that I feel to the contrary. And I feel like
mm,
that can potentially create a challenge in the tug of war. So that's what I'm getting. I know that's very specific, and that's often how my readings go.
mhm.
Obviously, and I am speaking like really specifically, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, but I know exactly what I'm talking about at the same time. So I hope that's helpful, and I'm curious to hear, what you might want to say, or if you don't want to share at all. And that's what I do with my clients as well, is that I'm like, you
Yeah.
can share, you don't have to share.
Yeah, no, I am just processing what you said and thinking about the different ways that I get feedback or information or advice from people in my life.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's really been a year where I've had to like really go with my gut and make some tough decisions that may have actually been to the contrary of actually advice around kind of how to handle things in my personal life, how to handle things here, even with this business, right? We've had, we've had some drama, we've had some sort of fake news attacks, and we've had some, some backlash from certain people, even former customers who saw it as an opportunity to sort of jump on the bandwagon, and many of whom were marketing competing products.
Hmm.
Um, so, anyways, dealing with like media and PR, which is I'm realizing like all just fake news, really, and people are just all trying to get clicks in headlines, and nobody really cares about the truth and the facts.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and so, yeah, there's been some advice that I've actually gone against and decided to play the long game, and um, and like it was financially more difficult. There was tougher decisions that I had to make that actually were not the best for my own personal situation.
Sure.
but they were better for for more people or for the greater whole or greater good, and also the longevity of our community and our company, and ultimately I think my integrity as well. Like, I've
For sure.
done some things, put my own personal peace and integrity over what's like what's I don't know what others would do in certain
Mhm,
situations. So
mhm,
in a sense, it kind of makes this year has kind of taught me to trust my gut, and that I actually have a lot of experience that I can lean on, almost like deposits in the bank that I didn't
mhm.
really realize had added up to as much wisdom, I guess, and in clarity as I thought, but it was really useful when I needed it. And so, in a sense, that feels connected to what you said.
Yeah, beautiful. It's like this reality check, but in a positive way that it's like, hey, I've got this. And also what I was getting is that as you were talking, it's like you're holding true to your vision. And when you brought up integrity, it's you have something, you're not just gonna sell out this thing that's really originated from your heart space. And anybody who does the challenge will see that this is really coming from your heart space um, when you talk about what you talk about in the challenge and when you talk about where you're coming from and why this is so important to you and also what I was getting by the way for the rest of the year as it relates to these cards is this nine of cups which is fulfillment and it's like it has a payoff it reaps the reward because instead of you have your own list of values and you're aligning your actions with that value system and it's not going to line up with some of these advices that you're getting right because it's not coming from you so I think it's beautiful that you really stuck to what feels true for you and authentic for you because this is a beautiful thing that's been put together and I know like you started off the podcast saying it sounds kind of I can't remember what word you used but it sounds kind of mushy but it's
Mm,
true, and I really felt that from even the beginning when I learned digital marketing from you and your team, because it comes through clear in the
mm,
challenge. This is a really big deal, and it originates from a different place, not just digital marketing.
yeah, for sure. One other thing that came up when was that we had, because we've been in business for 7 years and had some amazing success and created some amazing success stories, and a lot of people have been talking about us online, whether they were affiliates
Mhm,
of ours or whether it's just like media companies who are interested. I've got another interview coming up, and I don't even know what, like, and it's with a big publication, and it seems positive, but I really don't even care because, like, I I feel like I have a certain way of going about my business in living my life and carrying myself, and it's that I'm never going to roll in the mud and get nasty and dirty and
mhm,
try to lie or degrade people or throw people under the bus, even as much as they're kind of attacking me. And
mhm,
so, like, some of the advice this year that I got was to, you know, go after people and to, like, try to hurt them as much as
mhm,
they're trying to hurt me or us. And I held true to this kind of value that I have, which is that no matter how much somebody says about me bad or tries to hurt me, the answer is not to try to hurt them back, because
mhm,
but that's not the advice that you get from all of the business people and legal people and all this kind of stuff. It's to fight back, punch back, hit back, sue, all this kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I've decided to go totally against all of that sort of advice or best practice in business, and
mhm.
just stay focused on helping people and the people who want help and the people who are supportive. And and so that's been, I think, another thing that sort of comes up around your initial reading.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's at the bottom of the deck is the another king, yet another king, King of Wands, which is leadership, the entrepreneurial King of Wands that's in his leadership. And so it's really beautiful. What you're speaking about is, this is how I lead. This is how I lead myself. This is
Mm,
how I am my own leader. This is how I choose to be a leader. And I mean, I'm not trying to just like blow smoke or like toot your horn. I'm saying like that is, I wish it were more common that when the push comes and when we get, shoved, do we stick to our values? It's not
yeah,
easy. It's so easy to say these things. And then when we're under fire, do we do it? Because we're not what we say, we're what we do. And it's not easy.
yeah,
So I think that's beautiful.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's we're modeled in shown in this world, especially nowadays. First of all, there's always been like negativity and negative smear campaigns. We see it with our leaders, our political leaders. And it's not
Hmm.
new. This has always happened, right? This has always
Hmm.
been the case. You start seeing the ads pop up about what such and such did, and people are always more interested in negative stuff. And now like our as a country, our journalism is no longer actually journalism because the truth doesn't matter. What matters is clicks and eyeballs. And even the journalists have become like marketers, but not in a good way, right? I guess that's probably not even that's giving them too much. They've become, that's why I think the rise of social media and decentralized information is so important, is
100%.
because, in like us connecting, why people want to buy directly from people instead of companies, because, I mean, they're, you know click but now major media companies and news stations and so forth are even they're not even checking facts. They're not even looking at the actual facts. They're not interested in the truth. They're just interested in finding a bad guy and making a story. And they don't care what destruction that it causes. And for a lot of people, that kind of stuff can break people, hurt people. Um, luckily, for me, all those deposits in the bank I talked about a moment ago, that kind of stuff only motivates me more to be better and to be more of who I already am. I think there's a couple of things that make you more of who you already are. Number one is money, and number two is stress, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
and so, yeah, I think having values, knowing what your values are and sticking to them, not just when things are going good, but also when things are going bad and falling to shit around you, shows what your real character is. And just to your point about the kind of leadership factory foundation behind the marketing company or education company here, where we're teaching about entrepreneurship and online marketing, I've learned in 15 years that you have to have, you know, your mindset, your emotional intelligence, your ability to be able to deal with stress, your leadership, your confidence. Those are the foundation. If you have those, you can actually be successful at anything. It's not
Mhm.
about coming in here and trying to learn online marketing and, oh, I'm going to be successful with this because I was unsuccessful with that. No, you're going to be successful whenever you decide that you're going to address your mindset, your broken mindset, and your
Mhm.
limiting beliefs. You'd
Mhm.
be successful at a restaurant, a laundromat, a construction company. You could be successful at any online business model. You could be successful at anything that you do. Online marketing is not going to fix your life. Starting a business of your own is not going to fix your life. And I think too many people come into starting something new, whether it be a business or, as you probably see a lot of it in your past work, starting a new relationship, right?
Mhm.
Thinking that
Mhm.
somebody else is going to fix you. Nobody's going to fix you, and nothing's going to fix you. And
It's all
that's one
gonna
of the
show you what you need to work on, really. It's all going to
Yeah.
challenge you. And to your point about, you know, when you get it, it's not going to fix your life. It's, I talk to a lot of my clients about nervous system regulation. And in order to be successful, that we really need to regulate our nervous system. And then, just like you said, wherever you are, whether it's a restaurant or it's your online business or whatever it is, then you're going to be able to show up and be successful and really be truly leading yourself. Because all that
So,
stress, I mean, starting a business isn't going to fix your life. It's going to give you a lot more learning curves, really.
yeah, yeah. Connect. And by the way, thank you for the insight, and that was really helpful. And I wanted to just give you an opportunity also to kind of showcase your gifts and your skill set here live. I just thought it would be fun to ask for that.
Yeah,
So
you're welcome. Yeah. I was like,
that
oh,
was
I'm going to be put on the spot. I know it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, and just for
Which is
anybody who's
fine. I'm always on the spot, Dave. Like I get on a call with a client and I have no idea what they're going to ask me, and then I work really well on the spot because if I didn't, I wouldn't be good at what I do. But I was like, oof, I'm going to be live. Oof, there's going to be a lot of ears listening. Oof. So yeah.
yeah, well, it was wonderful, and again, a great showcase of all the deposits that you put in your bank account of doing what you do and being who you are and practicing when nobody's looking, right? Or when a bunch of people aren't looking or when it's only one person. I think so often we, especially now with social media, and we're so obsessed with numbers that we forget about the practice of getting better, just even if we're only doing it for one person. If you get one view on a video, look, you're practicing for one person. That's one person who's sitting in front of you, maybe virtually, but they're sitting in front of you. And it's an opportunity for you to, yes, serve them, yes, add value to their lives. That's the point. But it's also an opportunity for us to practice and actually get better at what we do. And then when we get an opportunity to have a video that blows up or do a reading live on a show where a bunch of people are watching, hey, we're ready. We're game time
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the big kind of we forget about that when we're smaller or starting out in our business. So I wanted to get into a couple of things with you about how this has been going for you and how you would tie in and how you've used some of the things like the nervous system regulation that you just talked about. I mean, how does that apply? First of all, like, what is that for just from your perspective,
Mhm.
and in practical terms, in layman's terms, and
Yeah.
also how does nervous system regulation tie in to entrepreneurship and building a business, specifically this kind of business that
Oh
all of
man.
us are doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'll give my like elevator spiel on nervous system, right? And so basically, and then we can talk about like how it applies to entrepreneurship and really like anything in life, but we'll focus on that. So basically, the oversimplified version is you have your nervous system has an on switch and an off switch. So let's say that you are pretty stressed out. We're going to look at it like it's a light switch. Okay, it's been a while since I've done this elevator speech. So here we go. So basically, when you get stressed out, your nervous system is gonna go, oh, what's happening? What's happening? There's an emergency, something's going on. And ideally, we want to realize, hey, everything's fine. A saber-toothed tiger is not chasing me. And then the nervous system goes back into the off switch, and now you're more available for life. You have all of your ability to, utilize your clear thinking skills. But basically, what happens in a life of stressors, because that's just how life is, we get stressed out and the on switch goes up. What happens is, after that happens repeatedly, we're living life in the on switch. We don't even realize it. And our, sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive, which is the on switch. Okay. And our parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, and this is a total oversimplification, but basically it's not accessible. And then what happens? you don't have the right amount of blood flow. Literally, blood is not flowing to your brain, and you don't have access to clear cognitive thinking. You don't have access to digestion because your body is experiencing it knows no difference between, oh, I'm late for a meeting and there's a saber-tooth tiger chasing me. Your body doesn't know the difference. And so it's sending all of its faculties into your survival skills. You're not digesting food because everything is going to your limbs so that you can run away. And we need to show up, and we need to be able to be in our best self. And how can we do that if we're constantly experiencing stress? And what we don't realize, like I said, is that we're showing up in this on switch. And so there are just some really simple, basic tools and exercises that can get us out of what I called sympathetic nervous system overdrive and get us into a parasympathetic nervous system state of rest and digest. I have all my capabilities at my fingertips now state. Because in entrepreneurship or anything, are you going to be able to show up effectively and optimally if your organism is not in an optimal state? No. So you can be doing all the right things. You can have your funnel set up. You can have your email campaign set up. You can have, you can, whatever it is in your particular, entrepreneurial neck of the woods, you can have all that set up. But if you're spinning in a loop and you can't relax, you're not going to be able to be effective moment to moment, day to day. And then that translates into, not bringing in cash flow and not thriving. If your organism isn't thriving, you're not going to be thriving financially either, or in your business. Not that finances are the only value, right? You're not going to be able to be of service, the way that you want to be. I hope that makes sense. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, it answers what the problem is.
Right.
How can somebody fix that, solve that, improve that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there are actually some really practical, simple tools. Okay. One of my go-tos is grounding. The research is out there. It's not all woo-woo. You can take the time to look into it, but literally putting your bare feet on the earth and absorbing negative ions from Mother Nature is a top tier way to ground your nervous system. And it's free and it's available. And so putting any amount of your skin on the bare earth or concrete's a conductor. So, go touch a tree, go hug a tree, go take your shoes off,
I
go
was
walk
just gonna
around.
say, what if you have artificial turf in your yard?
Okay, I got something else for you, so don't worry. We're gonna go down the list here. So then another one of my go-tos is, and I would do both of these. It's called the Basic Exercise by Stanley Rosenberg, and it's what's called a polyvagal eye exercise. Okay, polyvagal eye exercise, and it's really simple. You can just pop that into YouTube, The Basic Exercise by Stanley Rosenberg. It takes a few minutes. And basically what it is, you're looking left and you're looking right in a very prescribed way. It takes a few minutes and it gets your nervous system back to a state of balance.
Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right now?
Okay, so basically what you do, and disclaimer, anybody who wants to do this, don't take my elevator speech and then go. Pop it into YouTube, watch the video, let someone teach you. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to lay down, you're going to interlace your fingers, and you're going to put them at the base of your skull, and you're laying down. Even if the video says that you can sit up, we're going to pretend we're laying down, because even if the video says you can, I want you to lay down. And you're going to keep your nose at midline. You're not going to move your head. Okay, and you're going to look to the left. You're not going to super strain your eyes, but you're going to look to the left. And you're going to wait for a yawn, a swallow, or a sigh, which is an indicator of your parasympathetic nervous system saying, hey, here I am. So you're going to wait for a yawn, a swallow, or a sigh. And you're not going to stress out about it, and you're not doing it wrong, and it might take more time than, the first time, and that's fine, but it'll usually happen within like 30 to 60 seconds.
Mm.
And then we're going to pretend that happens. So we're going to come back to center. You're going to take your eyes to center, and then you're going to take your eyes to the right. You're not going to like super strain. You're going to keep your eyes in the same spot. You're just going to keep your eyes to the right. And you're going to wait for a yawn, a swallow, or a sigh. And then when that happens, you're going to come back to center, and you've done the basic exercise. And basically what you're doing is you're accessing, you're toning your vagus nerve, which is the other thing I was going to say, any vagal toning activity. You're toning your vagus nerve by, you're accessing it through your optical nerve. It's connected. And your vagus nerve is one of your cranial nerves. And basically the way I refer to the vagus nerve is it's this information superhighway that everything except for like one of your organs talks on. So I want you to imagine that while you're doing this thing, right, the eye exercise, you're paving the information superhighway. You're getting rid of all those potholes, and everything is able to communicate more effectively. So let's please optimize your organism, because you can show up. And I talk to people about this all the time in sessions, because what do they come to me with? Stress. And also, if you want to increase your psychic abilities, which we all have, by the way, we all have biceps. Do you go to the gym, right? We all have this amazing technology within us. Do you go to the metaphysical gym, so to speak, is the only question, right? And so go to the metaphysical gym, like do the basic exercise, because the more grounded you are in your nervous system, the more you're optimizing everything, including your spidey senses.
Well, I did it, and I felt instantly like relaxation come over me, and that was exactly what I needed in that, and what I need in a moment of stress and overwhelm. It's reminds me of watching my 3-year-old sometimes just have a breakdown, a total meltdown, and of course, a 3-year-old has it externally. It's all comes out. They don't hide it. We as adults, it's all an internal meltdown. And yeah, what is that?
Mean, yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what that means.
totally. Okay,
Well,
on
and
the note.
also something I love to tell my clients is that children are masters at emotional release. I have
Mm,
so many clients will be like, yeah, she says that all the time. Can you please remember that you've been socialized out of feeling and expressing your emotions? And so literally when I have a client who is repressing emotion, I tell them to imagine what would a 3-year-old do right now. They would
mm,
flail. They would let whatever noise wants to come out of them. Let yourself look ridiculous. Sure, be alone. I'm sure you want to be alone, but like, can you, and I'm going to look ridiculous for a minute, like, can you let yourself do this? Like, can you
yeah.
let yourself lose it and know you're not losing it? Yes.
Kind of what it
The
looks like
body wants
when
to,
when
like, that
my
energy wants to go somewhere. It wants
yeah.
to go somewhere.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like when my son does it. It's sort of like a flailing, throw yourself on the ground.
But then
Um,
they're good.
yeah. No, they
They're like,
are. They
okay,
are.
I'm good now, and they're just on to the
Yeah.
next thing.
No, literally, and also my daughter, when she crawled into bed last night, a lot of times we'll play rough before bed, like they'll run at
Yeah,
me and
great.
just jump on me and just, do like after shower. It's almost like a dog, when they take a shower, they run around. Um, but anyway, she got into her bed and just started flailing around like she was like had her finger in a light socket, you know what I mean? And she was like getting all the energy out before bed, you know? And
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that like what do we do as adults? Like we just lay in bed and just lay there like and
yeah.
it's like our minds go crazy, they won't turn off. Well, hey, if we got in the bed and went and flopped around like a fish for 5 minutes, I bet
Uh-huh.
you the mind would turn off a lot more and a lot easier. It's one of the reasons why, as a matter of fact, I did it last night after I put her to bed. I was also had some energy and I didn't go and sit down on the couch. I do this a lot. I piddle around, but I'm standing. I'm
Mm,
walking around. I'm
mm,
not
mhm.
sitting down, and that allows me to get out that extra energy that I have at night so I can, when I lay down, not be, have my mind racing, having racing thoughts.
And when you lay
So
down, is the mind going?
for me, no, no, it's not. Because I've stood, and sometimes I might be on my feet for an hour or two. I mean, I know
Mhm,
that sounds crazy, but it's like if I put my kids to bed and I've got some extra time, unless I'm exhausted and I still feel like I have energy to get out, or
mhm,
like I feel like if I sit down, the only thing I'm going to do is just like, be on my phone or whatever. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that,
mhm.
that could it's a lot easier to get energy out for me physically than it is like by mentally staring at something. Or so I might be on my feet for a couple of hours again, turning on some music, piddling around, cleaning up a little bit, looking at a few things, getting a few things. I just call it piddling. Like
Mm,
it's like I'm just kind of I'm up and I'm just doing stuff, but I'm not really have like this major agenda. I want to enjoy myself too. I might look at some of things that I collect or this or that. But it's a way for me to get that extra energy out. And I think it ties back to the central nervous system coping mechanisms that you're talking about. And how often do we sit down at the computer and we're overflowing with anxiety and overwhelm, and we've sat there to the point to where we're not productive anymore. Maybe
yeah,
we've been there, you only really can sit down for 30 to 45 minutes at a time before you begin to blank out or just start staring off into space and being unproductive. And
yeah.
so it's important for me anyways to get up and move a little bit and take a break and then come back and sit down with a reset. And I would assume that's probably somewhat along the lines of a central nervous reset. Is it?
Well, absolutely. And I remember reading a study one time, which also I want to preface this with it's hilarious that we need white papers and studies to tell us what our body is like intuitively telling us all the time. But
Yeah.
um for like the best brain function, you should at least take a 5-minute break every 60 minutes. But how often do we just sit there? And I don't do this anymore, but like when I had a desk job, how often do you just sit there for hours and
All
hours
day.
and hours and your butt hasn't left the chair for 5, 7, 8 more hours, and the body was always meant to move. And we wonder why we have all these physical, mental, emotional, psychological problems because it's not appropriate for our body to be stationary, and it's not just for physical reasons either, right? So I can completely, it makes complete sense. I
Yeah.
need to get up, I need to move around. Yeah, for sure.
Um, what sort of experience, I feel like your answer might be interesting around dealing with fear of putting yourself out there, going on camera, hitting post. Nowadays there's so many options that we have to create content. We can create content where we're talking in it. We can create content where we're not talking in it. We're just putting text on screen. We can even use meme content where we're repurposing memes out there and making them applicable to our niche, but we're still afraid to hit post. We're still afraid to be seen. It's safer to be invisible, yet that's in contradiction with our goals. How does somebody overcome that? What can somebody do? What have you done to be more okay? Besides the motivational stuff that we all know or
Yeah.
see every day, which is you only have one life to live, don't live it for somebody else. how can we go beyond the surface level and actually kind of cure the root cause of that lack of confidence?
Yeah, I'm so excited to answer this question. So, because so many of us deal with that, and I've dealt with that. And so, beyond the motivational stuff that you speak of, when you can like cognitively go, yeah, that makes sense, but then you're not able to integrate it and like do it, right? There's some subconscious belief there. If your actions are still not in alignment with what you consciously can acknowledge is true, there's some subconscious belief. And so it's like this fear of being seen and heard. I'm scared of being rejected. I'm scared of abandonment, right? Like a lot of us have these things from past experiences. And so, my advice would be like the nervous system exercises we talked about, but also like just do it. Just do it, and then let yourself have the experience that like, no terrible thing happened. I was convinced, my brain was telling me, which is another like thing I like to use. My brain is telling me, because can we just take this idea that's in our head right now and go, do I buy this? My brain is telling me, right? But do I buy this? And so what else did I want to say? I mean, just doing it, because it's like that cliche, feel the fear and do it anyway. But as you were talking, there was something else that felt really important and really alive for me that I wanted to say. It's turned out for me that some of the things that scared the crap out of me have been the most exciting things that I love, and actually that I'm the best at. I was scared
Mm,
to death of doing a couples reading, because then there would be two people in the room and two people are going to see me. And then this relates to the same fear I had of posting something and it being imperfect, right? Because I'm going to
mm,
be judged, because there's an unrealistic expectation to be perfect, because then I can avoid being judged, right? And um and so um then it turns out that like couples readings are literally one of my favorite things ever. I miss doing them, because I got a lot of them when I was in my office in Sedona, because like couples will come to the area, right? But
yeah,
originally I was scared to death of like not just being one-on-one, because on one-on-one it's safer. It's like a safety net. You know what I mean? I know I'm reading for them. I know I'm connecting. But what if I read for you and your wife, Dave, and I say something for to you and I'm scared that it doesn't resonate, and then there's two of you. But it never went like that, and it
yeah,
was always even better, right? And it turned out it was one of my favorite things. So my point is that, what if the thing you're so scared of is really one of the things you're going to love the most? And what
yeah,
if you do it and no terrible thing happens? Because it probably won't. I mean, you can pitch to yourself, oh, that was awful, right? But if you can let go of the negativity and stress enough to see that it was great. And then also, this is another message that really resonates for me. If I don't step into this, if I don't courageously do this thing I feel like I'm being called to do, if I don't do my work and do this thing I'm meant to do, and I'm getting chills when I'm saying this, what am I keeping from other people?
mm,
If I'm more fully myself, I have something to birth into the world. And if I
yeah,
don't do that, what are other people not getting?
yeah,
You
yeah.
Kind of a long answer.
No, and it goes right along with what I know and believe, which I was actually told and taught when I got clean and sober 15 years ago, that if you want to get clean, Dave, you need to act yourself into a new way of thinking, not think yourself into a new way of acting.
True.
And that also does go along with the science. The
Yeah.
science has proven over the last 15 to 20 years that our brains can rewire themselves. And
Mhm.
that's oversimplifying it, right? But they literally can reform neural pathways, and we can literally create new habits and new ways of thinking, seeing ourselves, seeing the world. Before, psychology did not believe that. That's why we did crazy shit like lobotomies and put people in padded cells and probably lock people up the way that this country has for so many years. We did not believe in rehabilitation. We did not believe in recovery. There was a time that a recovering addict like me would have been banished from society, put in a mental institution at 24 years old when I simply had an addiction and had been
Mhm.
introduced to prescription narcotics because of the epidemic that was
Mhm.
happening around that time in the late 90s and early 2000s with prescription opiates. I would have been a victim of that. And so we've come a long way in 20 something years to now understand and know that we may not be able to sit around and particularly think ourselves into a new way of acting. And I'll be extreme with this, can't really sit here and say there's no weeds in my yard. There's no weeds in my yard. And even somebody like you, who's a clairvoyant, spiritual, and counselor and teacher and coach, understands that all of the even the exercises that you pointed out today and walked us through, there is action that needs to take place in order to get a result. It's not magic. There is no woo woo. There is no magical. The,
There's
there
both,
is
but yeah, no, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
there's no magical fairy dust that
Right.
somebody can sprinkle over somebody. And I'm not I'm that's I'm being very logical here. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean that spiritual magic doesn't take place and is not real, because we're all spiritual in our own ways and we all believe what we believe, and
Yeah.
that's our own personal believies, and I'm not
Yeah.
here to take any of those away from anybody. I'm just talking about if somebody walked in with absolutely no spiritual side to them, was
Mhm.
absolutely said, I want data, facts, I want only practical information and logic, give me no emotion, give me no spirituality. What
Mhm.
I'm saying right now, in terms of acting yourself into a new way of thinking versus thinking yourself into a new way of acting, is about as bare bones and powerful as it gets. And so, what does that mean? Well, it's very much in line with what you said. If I want to get good, if I want to get more confidence, I gotta record the damn video and hit post. And it's gonna suck at first, and I'm gonna be fearful at first. But after 5 or 10, or even after I get some positive feedback, eventually it's gonna feel I'm gonna have a different belief about this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
act myself into a new way of thinking versus what I think so many people do, which is morning routine themselves, podcast themselves, meditate themselves, all this getting ready to get ready to somehow have a magical awakening be in somehow then I'm gonna be ready to finally do it. That in my experience of 15 years of coaching hundreds of thousands of people never comes.
Well,
Never
isn't
comes.
that sometimes just avoidance of doing the thing of what's scary? Like if I
Yeah.
say I have a laundry list of things to do before I do the thing, then I hold off on doing the thing and I'm avoiding the scary thing. And I agree with you about, we have to take action, right? And oftentimes a lot of a huge well, all the time, a huge factor is in manifesting, right? It's like taking the actions to be aligned with doing the thing. Like you can
Yeah,
manifest something all
manifesting
day
is an
long, but if you
action
don't have
thing for
eyes
me.
to see that it just dropped in your lap,
Yeah.
right? You manifested it, but it came and it went. And I tell my clients all the time, you're not going to get what you're asking for until you can be the bowl, not the strainer. Because
Mm.
when you get what you're asking for and you're a strainer, you haven't done the work, whatever that work might look like, it just goes right
Yeah.
through. And so, to your point, when you are taking aligned action with what you say you're wanting to create, wanting to receive, whatever, you're a bowl, right? Not a strainer. But
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I love the point about manifesting, because manifesting is a two-part equation to me. it does start with positive thinking. It does start with visualization. It does start with, I am going to speak what I want into existence. For me, that's always been what manifesting is. And I can't then and go do the opposite of what I'm
Right.
speaking into existence. I can't sit on my duff, speak or think positive thoughts, and then take negative actions or no actions. I have
Mm-hmm.
to, it's a full equation of both the
Mm-hmm.
thinking, the speaking, and the acting. And um, that is magic. That's
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know?
Can I add something to what you said about you said you have to, okay, it does start with your words and speaking, and then taking the action as well, right? That it's two parts. And in that same vein, it's like you can take all the actions and you can do all the things, but if you're using the power of your word, and yeah, it sounds kind of woo woo, but like to neuro linguistically program yourself, which is not so woo woo, right? To say, like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, I'm doing A, B, and C, but I'm saying it's not going to work out, and I'm saying it's not going to come to pass and whatever. And you're just using this powerful word that goes against your action. So there's a dissonance as well, right? And another like two part, like they have to meet and shake hands and like work
Mm.
together and go forward. So I love what you said. Yeah, I
I
agree.
I think that our words are one of the most powerful things that we have at our disposal. And I just invite everybody who's listening, if you can take one thing from today, at least this second part of the conversation, is that stop talking badly about yourself, putting yourself down, or limiting yourself by
Mhm.
talking with your words. You wouldn't
Mhm.
allow somebody else to talk to you like that. Don't allow yourself to talk to or about yourself like that.
Mhm.
With
Mhm.
that being said, Erin, we're coming up on the top of the hour. I want to be
Yes.
respectful of your time. It's been a pleasure. It's been so fun. I know you met with Joanne, I think, last time you were on, and it's been so great to connect with you. Thank you for the reading. That was fun and insightful. People can find you at third_I_Erin. And I wish you all the best of luck. Come back and see me in a few months or in another year and keep us posted on your journey. And stay legendary, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me last year and this year. And it's great to connect with you. I really appreciate you and the presence that you have. And you have a gift at drawing out the true essence of people. I know that I feel that in my experience today. We talked about a lot of things that are like really huge to me, and so I feel like you and I see this with other people that you connect with, you are very present. And it's not as common as I think we might think, and I just really appreciate you. I appreciate your character, your integrity, and I just wanted to say that while I'm here live with you. Thank you so much for being you, and it's great to connect with you, Dave. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for those words. They mean a lot. And everybody thinks very highly of you as well. Thank you, everybody in the comments, for participating and listening and being flies on the wall, and the supportive and loving comments for Erin and myself. All right, Erin. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, my friends, you can find Erin over at third_I_Erin, ERIN, third I Erin. She also is on TikTok. Let's see what she's got a couple of different profiles. Start with Instagram, third_I_Erin. You can find her there and go from there. Follow her, learn from her, and connect with her. That was a lot of fun this morning. And I didn't, one of the things about the show is we never plan anything. So just in case you were like thinking that was planned, it totally wasn't. I put her on the spot and she absolutely delivered. My friends, we never know what, Wake Up Legendary is going to do or bring. As Erin said, I just hope that it brings out the best in everyone. And I appreciate all of you for actually being willing to come on the show and give back, because that's what the show is like. Really, the core essence of the show is that our customers are coming back on to talk about their experience, for free to just serve you all. Like, where else do people do that? Where else is that happening? And so not only is it super cool, but I'm also super grateful that you all are so willing to do that and then keep coming back on the show. It's just awesome, and it makes legendary legendary. And so thanks for being a part of the community. All of you in the comments who are here all the time, or if you're new, keep coming back. If you want to get a little Facebook reminder, then go and subscribe to our Facebook Messenger list. You can go to legendarymarketer.com/WUL, stands for Wake Up Legendary, or I'll just post it in the comments right here. You can click the link in the comments and it'll take you into Facebook Messenger. It'll open up a little Facebook Messenger thing and you can just subscribe. It's just a little notification list that'll put a little notification whenever we go live. All right, my friends, if you want or need to get started with our education, take our challenge, enroll in our blueprints, come to a mastermind, go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll. It's where all of our customers who are on the show started. All right. So go take our challenge. Right now, we have our 5-day, brand new 5-day learn, launch, lead challenge. You're going to learn a ton about online marketing, about the core 4 business models of selling information online, and the digital marketing skills you need, no matter what you're promoting, but particularly if you want to do online marketing, the way that we teach it. And so take that challenge. It's $5, the cost of a decent coffee at your local or even national coffee shop, for God's sakes. You deserve it. You're worth it. It'll be well worth your time, possibly even the best investment that you've ever made in your education. With that being said, we'll see you back here on Monday for another episode of Wake Up Legendary. Thanks again, Erin. Everybody, have a great day. Get out of here. Peace.